We are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Allison. How are you?
I'm doing good.
This fine, hot summer day.
Good thing we gave everybody the summer off. We've got Kevin, Sybil, Rose, and you in the live chat room so far. Quiet but lively already. Yeah, Sybil. I forget who was in here. Somebody was in here who had to take up the slack for you on the weird and bizarre comments, and so it was rough for them. But was it Kirshen wasn't here, was she?
I don't think so.
Who was it? I forget who it was. All right, hot. Yeah. Well, it's 84 in my office, so that's nice. It's on its way down, though. We got the air conditioning on. Tell me, can you guys hear the air conditioner? I don't think you can. I think my dynamics processor should keep it from being able to listen or being able to hear it. All right, let me try a little recording here. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, July 24th, 2016, and this is show number 585. All right, see if you can hear this. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek.
I can hear that just fine.
Boy, that is good. Nailed it. I should have just let it go. Maybe I should just leave that. That was a test recording, but it sounded pretty good.
I think it's a go.
All right, let's see. So right there, let me check where I started that though. A little bit to the left. All right. Hi, this is Allison. Sounds too early. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan.
Better.
I didn't move it. Does that sound like the right spot?
Do that again. It sounded fine.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted. Sounds like a rattling bus. Oh, great. Thanks, Sybil. All right, let's see. So we want to start with Codecademy. Preview. I like that there.
Heat index for Kevin 105.
Yikes.
Today. Ouch.
It's okay though, because Kevin really likes warm weather, as I recall.
He loves the heat, yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, here we go. Well, we're going to just kick right into the show. No messing around. There's no grandbaby here yet, so the show must go on. Well, Bart Busschots has been working on a series in Chit Chat Across the Pond entitled Programming by Stealth. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this quite a few times. We just finished episode 18. These lessons started in HTML, then they moved into CSS or cascading style sheets, and since episode 12, we've been learning JavaScript. Bart has written terrific tutorials with excellent explanations of the terminology, logic, and process of coding in JavaScript. The foundation he is laying is adaptable to learning other languages as well. A few lessons back, though, I suggested an enhancement to the series. At the risk of being labeled as teacher's pet, I asked him to assign homework to us, or as he likes to call them, challenges. He came up with these challenges, but I got to tell you, they've been really, really hard for me. Now, I'm lucky because often, even with our time differences, Bart has been around to help me with my homework. When he's asleep, it turns out Alistair Jenks is awake in New Zealand. He's not a JavaScript expert, but he's a programmer, and he's been working along with Programming by Stealth as well, so he's been a huge help. There's also a programmer named Jill Romansky who's been listening along and following the series, and she's been helping me too. She writes these wonderful, long, detailed emails where she targets things she's heard me not understanding. It's great because A, she's a fantastic writer, B, she's very knowledgeable about JavaScript, and C, she brings a different perspective to the same topic. So she and Bart don't always attack a problem the same way, but they have mutual respect and there's not just one way to do things. But I got to tell you, even with all that help, it wasn't enough. I've still been struggling with the homework. I think I figured out why. It's not that I don't understand the logic, it's that I haven't had any practice. I can read the code Bart writes and understand his explanations, but I can't write it myself. It's like taking a French class where you've never been given the opportunity to try to speak it yourself. Well, the challenges came kind of late in the series because we didn't think of it, and these challenges are too advanced for me. They're complex problems, and I can't even write a for loop on my own without being riddled with typos. I don't know when to use a round bracket versus a square bracket versus a squirrely bracket. By the way, they're not called that. I just call them that to irritate Bart. Well, anyway, I've been calling them that so long, I don't even remember what they are called now that I think about it. Well, this week, I found the solution to my problem. I started going through the lessons on JavaScript at Code Academy. I keep saying this wrong, codecademy.com. In the first 3 days I worked in Codecademy, I went through 25% of the lessons. I stayed up late doing them. I skipped watching TV to do them. They're so much fun. Codecademy starts really, really slow and takes teeny tiny baby steps. Just like programming by stealth, they provide a playground where you type the code. Then you push a button, the code runs, and you can see the output. If it failed to meet the objective, you get a message explaining the failure. If it succeeded, you get congratulated. This instant feedback on the smallest bits is exactly what I needed. I'm even getting the hang of those brackets now. Like any good training program, it's filled with encouragements. You get little badges. I've got a 50 lesson badge already. And the text pops up happy little messages to tell you you've succeeded. If you get stuck, there's a hint area where you can reveal it to help you get over the hump. I only had to use it once so far, and I was glad to see they didn't just show me the answer in the hints. They actually did just give me a hint of how to approach it. Bart started going through the lessons too, just so he could see what they were teaching and how they were teaching it. He, of course, flew through it during a lunch hour, but he was pleased to see that they only used one piece of terminology different from what he's been teaching. He even discovered that Codecademy uses one of the same examples he did. It's a challenge called FizzBuzz. Bart says this is a challenge that's often given in programming job interviews as a way to test to see if someone's faking the interview. He said it wasn't hard, but it does weed out the fakers. Guess what? I can do FizzBuzz now, so I can fake a job interview. Well, clearly one reason it's so easy for me to do the Codecademy JavaScript class is because the explanations are already very familiar to me because of Bart's instruction. Reading Codecademy is like a refresher course for me. The main thing it gives me is the hands-on practice I needed. It's fun, it's easy so far, and I'm really feeling much more confident that I'll be able to tackle Bart's challenges. I've been going back and forth between Codecademy and Bart's challenges, and I'm able to do the challenges now. I'm being able to pick it up, so it's definitely helping. Bart's going to take a breather on programming by stealth because we finished learning the language components and to give me time to go through Codecademy and get the practice that I need. He's also written up some smaller challenges himself over at bartbusschots.ie for us to take on as well. If you haven't been following along with programming by stealth and wish you'd started at the beginning, or if you've been following along and you're struggling like I am, then I highly recommend giving the free Codecademy a try over at codecademy.com. If you want more quizzes and instructional materials, you can sign up for a pro account, but so far I think the combination of Codecademy and programming by stealth will work perfectly for me. There we go. All right, I'm going to save that. What did I miss? You aren't telling him how you heard Einstein, are you?
Yeah, I was fessing up.
Are you?
But he looks good as new.
He does. Does he bobble?
He even bobbles. That was a tough repair. It's hard to repair a bobblehead when he breaks at the neck because it's a bobbly neck.
Yeah, yeah. I just noticed a typo, Steve. Code Academy. I used search code Academy. There was one left. It's in the URL. Let me fix that. Oh, come on. Codecademy. Example as in Codecademy. There it is. There we go. Send a blog. All right. So did you tell him how you broke it? Wait. You didn't fess up. You said it fell. Steve, tell him what you did.
Well, technically it did fall, right?
No, it didn't fall.
I used it to secure something and it fell.
Why? What did you use it to secure, dear?
A little cat toy that was hanging down off the mantle.
So he puts a cat toy with the rod under it. So now the bobblehead is rocking on this thing and has it dangling down for the cats to pull off.
Well, I thought it's a pretty heavy bobblehead. I thought it was going to do the trick, but they're strong cats. Really strong.
Jeez. Silly goose. That was not your brightest moment. But I got to say, you did fix it. What am I doing here?
Just don't bobble it too hard.
Yes, yeah, really. All right, let me make sure this gap isn't too long. 85. Well, we're going to just kick right into the show. No messing around. All right. Here we go.
So Kevin has the answer.
What's that?
It's the cat's fault.
All right. We're the cat lovers. Come on, Rose. Defend the cats. Yeah, technically, you weren't even in the room when it happened. All right. Going to start recording again. Let's take a little break and chat about how much value you get out of the podcast and blog. I'm just guessing that you really wish there was just some way you could help the show. There's a lot of ways to do it, as it turns out. You could simply push the big, giant ways to help the show button and then push the PayPal donate button on the next page. Or you could use the Amazon link on podfeed.com, and anything you buy from there on out sends a small percentage to the show. Maybe you're not feeling flush with cash right now, and that's okay. For no money at all, you can drop a review into iTunes to help get the show more visibility, and I'd really appreciate the help. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. That was short and sweet. Stealth will work perfectly for me. Way too long a gap. I don't like silence. Have you noticed that? Pull you over there. Will work perfectly for me. Let's take a little. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. All right, together. Get rid of you. I wonder if Ghibli's is going to come into the show.
Yeah.
Be fun if she went into labor and announced it during the live show. Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm having the baby.
That's when we hang up the mic and run out the door.
Boom. There you go. That would be a mic drop event. All right, here we go. Let's see, save. Did Kevin tell me to save? Yes, he did. Just recently, the makers of the beloved Evernote changed their pricing plans dramatically. If you're an avid Evernote user, I'm sure you've already read the many posts about this, including Evernote's announcement themselves. They changed the free tier so it now only works on 2 devices, and both of the paid tiers had planned increases of more than 30% in cost. Now, I'm sure there's people out there for whom the price increase is still worth it, and for whom the restrictions are just fine, not a big deal. If you're happy with Evernote, even with these changes, then this next article is not for you. If you really like the functionality you get from Evernote, but the fee changes and/or the restrictions are more than you can bear, I might have an alternative for you. It's called Together from Reinvented Software. Together doesn't work exactly like Evernote, so we'll go through the features and you can decide if it meets your needs. But before we go through the features, let's talk price, since that's what has most people upset with about Evernote. Together 3 is available for $60 in the Mac App Store, and you'll pay an additional $10 for the iPad iPhone Universal app. So for the same price of $70, you can have Together Forever or Evernote Premium for 1 year. I guess I shouldn't say forever, until the next major upgrade, I suppose. But anyway, for the same price as Evernote Premium for 1 year. If you've been on the free tier, that might sound like a lot of money, and maybe more limited tools like Apple Notes could fit your needs. For a lot of people, that's enough. Well, luckily, you can also get a non-Mac App Store version of Together directly from Reinvented Software. So the reason you want to look at that is you can download a free trial to see if you like it enough to make the one-time investment. You can't test out the syncing between devices with the trial version, though, and we'll get into why that is later. All right, now we can talk about what Together actually does. Together can store notes, documents like PDFs, images, sound files, movies, bookmarks, and web archives. Together does not store these files in a blob inside an impenetrable database like Evernote. Instead, it stores these files in a normal file structure in the Finder. You can even choose to leave your files right where they are and have them referenced for access from within Together. Now, that's going to be a common theme throughout this review. You have a choice in Together. I stumbled that too much, and I found a really dumb typo that I need to fix. It said blog instead of blob. That autocorrect changed that. So fix that. Let's see. Thinking about changing to Audacity, you guys. All right. Stop it. I told you to play right here. No,
Why?
That stupid playhead moves around. Now, that's going to be a common theme. What?
I was just asking why you're thinking of changing. Is it because of the stupid playhead?
Well, the playhead does bug the crud out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Is one reason. All right. That's one thing that bugs me. A lot of stuff bugs me. Things I can't do. All right. So what was I going to say? There we go. The fact that it forgets to record sometimes, that irritates me. That's going to be a common theme throughout this review. You have a choice in Together. You can use it the way it makes sense to you. At any time, you can right-click on an item and choose Show in Finder. I like that a lot. Here's another feature you might like. Together allows you to password protect individual notes and uses AES 128 for your encryption pleasure. You might be wondering, how do I get my Evernote database into Together? Well, luckily, the developer, Steve Harris, has created an Evernote import tool. He's also got a page dedicated to Evernote users that walks you through how to use it and some of the differences between the two applications to help you get comfortable. I use the Evernote import tool myself, and I learned that it's good to import a few notebooks at a time until you're sure it's running smoothly. Together 3 syncs through iCloud, and since Apple has fixed most of the iCloud syncing problems, it's pretty stable now. iCloud syncing is only possible on the Mac App Store apps. So if you do want to sync between devices, you're going to want that version, not the version from directly from him. It's a very interesting implementation of iCloud syncing. I mentioned that you can see your files in the Finder, but you will not see them in iCloud Drive on your Mac or iOS device. In fact, you shouldn't try to put them there. Together stores its libraries in an iCloud database. Note that this means if you use iCloud syncing, the files you store in Together will count against your iCloud storage allowance. If you go to the Mac App Store and read the comments about previous versions of Together, you'd run away screaming and think I'm nuts for recommending it. As you know, Apple has struggled with the stability of iCloud syncing, and that has affected the ratings of many, many apps in the Mac App Store. Together 3 is on the newest implementation of iCloud, and it's working much, much better now. So don't read the ones about the previous versions, because those reviews they're pretty harsh. He got blamed for a lot of the problems that iCloud caused. The Together interface has a clean and simple style. I'm sorry.
You okay over there?
A little bit of a gag.
It's getting.
What?
The heat getting to you?
I still couldn't understand you.
The heat is getting to you?
Yes, it was. Here we go.
Want to take a breather?
Actually, it's getting better. I swallowed some water the wrong way. All right. The Together interface has a clean and simple style. Down the left pane, you'll see your library with sections for all items, inbox, last import, favorites, and trash. Right below that, you'll see your items already pre-categorized as notes, documents, images, sounds, movies, bookmarks, and web pages. Together automatically knows what kind of file you've imported, so you don't have to do that categorization yourself. Of course, Together supports search, which is the way I find nearly everything, and tags for those metadata nerds amongst us. Now, the tags aren't hierarchical, so don't get too excited about it. Then for the anal amongst us, you can create folders for your items. You can create subfolders and sub-subfolders, and going and going and going. Another organizational tool in Together is groups. Your items can be in multiple groups at the same time, and groups can be inside folders as well. They act very much like albums in photos or playlists in iTunes. If you delete a group, your items do not disappear. And what fun would groups be if you couldn't make smart groups? Smart groups can be created by matching tags, creation date, whether they're encrypted or not, and more. You can even make smart groups that search only inside specific folders, which is an unusual feature. I really, really like that. Remember when I said Together is all about choice? This is what I mean. What if you have distinctly different worlds in which you need to track things, like work versus home versus church versus school? With Together, you can have multiple libraries, so you can keep all that icky work stuff away from your home improvement projects. I recently heard CGP Grey complaining on the Cortex podcast with Mike Hurley that in Evernote he had hit the 250 notebook limit. I checked with the developer, and in Together, you're only limited by the size of your drive and iCloud's single file size limit of 15 gigabytes. Well, let's talk about what's not to like. I'm trying to keep in mind what people, I want to say that quite not that way. Well, let's. Oh. As I'm walking through this, I'm trying to keep in mind what people like about Evernote. And one thing that Evernote has over Together is that it's cross-platform beyond the Apple world, even including a web interface. Together is definitely an Apple user's dream with the iOS and Mac, but there's no Android, no Windows, no Linux or web version of Together. Another thing premium Evernote users get and like is that it can do optical character recognition on your files, which makes it awesome. You can snap a photo and have it be a searchable document if it contains text. Together doesn't have that functionality natively, but there's a pretty easy way to add it. Using an OCR app like Scanner Pro from Riaddle, you can scan in a document and simply share it out to Together. When you use the share icon, Together will save the file to the current open library. It lets you name it if you choose and ask you where you want it stored. At that point, you can just toss it into the inbox for later triage or file it away into one of your folders. I tested out this process and it took way less time to do than it took me to describe it just now. I was also thinking about how you could create a Hazel rule that said that anything that went into the inbox, run a tool like if you've got Abby Fine Reader from your scanner or another OCR program, you can have that run automatically in using Hazel. So that might be another way to skin that cat. Ooh, I hate that phrase. Don't know why I said that. Anyway, I know a lot of people use Evernote as a collaboration tool as well, sharing notes between users. Together does not do the sharing thing except with yourself. So if collaboration is an essential need of yours inside a tool like this, maybe you would be better off with Microsoft OneNote. I personally don't like the interface in OneNote myself. I find it very confusing, but it does do collaboration and it is cross-platform. Let's get back to talking about what's cool about Together. When I'm working on a project, I often have lots of bits and pieces of ideas that are interrelated. For example, I'm learning JavaScript from Bart in our Programming by Stealth series, and I'm using Codecademy to hone my skills, like I just told you about. Well, I'm taking notes in Together, and it's working great. I started a note where I just plop in everything I'm learning in Codecademy. Lots of times I go to the Googles to learn more, though. If I find a useful page, I can save that into Together as a bookmark or as an entire web archive that I can view right inside Together as a website. Now, here's the really cool part. I can right-click, say, on that website note, and I can copy a link to the note and paste that into the other notes page. So now I've got a hot link from one note to another. It works really, really well, and that's a pretty unique feature, I think. You can link any kind of document into any other document. So you can link an audio file into a text note, for example. I mentioned at the beginning all the different formats of files Together can store, but I didn't tell you that you can actually view them inside Together. I've got a bunch of jingles I use for the podcast, and I can play these audio files right inside Together. Video clips, just hit play. No need to launch preview. And of course, images show up beautifully in Together. Together includes an interesting tool called the shelf. The shelf is a little slide out thing from the side of your screen that allows you to jot quick notes, find things in your notes, and even drag things into Together. I don't find that I use it a lot, but it is a handy feature you might like. I want to talk a little bit about the iOS implementation because it's a bit different from the Mac version. Remember how I said you could put huge files in and all of them into your Together stored libraries? Well, you wouldn't want all of that data swooshing into your iPhone with its limited storage. Instead, Together shows you everything in your library, but you have to tap to have it come down to local storage on the device. Those things that you select will be available for offline viewing, but you can also remove them as locally stored at a later date. Because items aren't stored locally by default, you can't search within Notes on the iPhone version only by title. So you can search by title, but you can't search for content that's inside those notes. But Together is all about choice. If you want everything local, for each library, you can flip a switch in preferences to download everything to your device. This would work great if you have, say, a lovely cabin in Idaho, but you don't have cell service. I hope this explanation of Together has helped you understand it as an alternative to Evernote and help you make a decision on whether it might be right for you. I don't expect everyone to resonate with the way Together works, as everyone doesn't resonate with the way Evernote works, but it's awesome that we have these choices. If you'd like to see Together in action, I did a tutorial for Don McAllister's Screencast Online where I walk through all of the features. Screencast Online is a subscription service, but he has a free 14-day trial, so you can go check it out for free. Alrighty.
Boy,
Alrighty then. Boy, what?
You're channeling.
Who is that?
Oh man, the comedian that does the face.
Alrighty then. Ace
Yes.
Ventura. What is his name?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, but
let's give the chat room 42 seconds and they'll say it.
In the meantime, I want to show people what they were handing out at the Star Trek Beyond showing at AMC.
Oh, okay. Let me.
I got it here.
I'll make you live so that you stick.
So I don't know if you can see that. That's a little. It's not a communicator, but it's a Star Trek badge.
Jim Carrey, Rose says.
Jim Carrey, that's it. Thank you, Rose. Anyway, they did a pretty good job with this.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I let Steve have both of them, one Minton box and the other one he can wear. Why aren't you wearing it, honey?
Oh, well, I wouldn't show. It's too low. Well, maybe I could put it up high up here.
Where are we going to put it? On your belly button?
Right.
Okay.
I just plaster it up here. How's that?
Here you go. Very nice. All right. I want to listen to this gap for just a second. Hang on. Size limit of 15 gigabytes. As I'm walking through. Okay. Sounds good. Jim Carrey. Alrighty then. Okay. So next we're going to go to, what's next? Where'd it go? Where's my thing? There it is. Preview. It was, my Mac App Store rant. How about on a Podfeed hat? There you go, Steve.
So I think you can take the camera off me now.
Oh,
okay. I think did you?
No, I did not. There you go. Now you can talk if you need to, but all right. Sybil says no spoilers. Well, I thought the ending was fantastic when... Oh, just kidding. All righty. Let's go. Let's do this thing. I listen to a lot of tech podcasts, and many of them have had discussions lately about what's wrong with the Mac App Store. The level of rant against the Mac App Store has become so high that I feel compelled to voice my own opinions. I'm going to try very hard to not call out any people or products, but keep this as kind of a generic discussion. First of all, the rants I've heard are all from the point of view of the developers. While the developers' needs and concerns are valid, theirs is not the only point of view to consider. None of these discussions I've been listening to seem to take into account the needs and desires of the Mac user. Now, I can only speak for myself, but I love the Mac App Store. I love that I can buy an app and get it on all of my devices. I love the fact that those in my family plan can also get access to any apps I buy through the Mac App Store. I love that I can do a nuke and pave and get all of my apps back by just clicking in the store, instead of navigating to each developer's website and hunting down my license keys. A couple of years ago, I bought a $100 app directly from a developer for which I get high value and I enjoy using. It is worth $100. When I bought my MacBook to supplement my MacBook Pro, I was furious to discover that the license agreement did not allow me to use this very expensive app on a second Mac. They wanted another $100. I know that 30% of the cost of the app goes to Apple, but when a new version came out, you can be sure that I switched to the Mac App Store version, even though I could have bought an upgrade for far less money directly from the developer. I love that the Mac App Store isn't the only way I can get apps for my Mac. Utilities like App Delete will never be allowed in the Mac App Store, but I can still go get it on my own. Text Expander is too far-reaching for the Mac App Store too, but it's 100% worth it to get it directly from Smile. We have the flexibility to get the tricky, cool tools directly from the developers and to get mainstream apps through the Mac App Store. For me, it's the best of both worlds. Now, Apple's 30% cut has been a sore point for a long time, and recently this was highlighted with Spotify complaining rather loudly about it. I'm not sure having the same recurring fee for a subscription service as for apps makes any sense at all, so I do think Spotify may have a point. And let's not forget that Apple is now taking 15% off subscriptions in the second year a user keeps the subscription. So it's 30% the first year, but only 15% the second year. Now, I don't really want to talk about the subscription pricing stuff. I'd rather talk about the 30% in context of normal non-subscription apps. One developer complained about the 30% during a podcast recently with the statement, "I think the richest company in the world could afford to take a smaller cut." That evokes so many thoughts in me. First of all, how do you think Apple got to be the richest company in the world? Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't by having razor-thin margins, was it? The conversation drove me nuts because the argument for why Apple should cut their margin was because Spotify had razor-thin margins. Why is it Apple's responsibility that they chose to be in a business with such low margins? It's not Apple's fault, that's Spotify's fault. I don't get that argument at all. I think it's a valid comparison to look at what cut Amazon takes when you self-publish an ebook. According to Amazon's direct publishing guidelines for Kindle books, the author gets to keep the grand sum of 35% of the selling price of their book. Seriously, Amazon keeps 65%. And they give you a range of what you can charge for the book. They have restrictions. Now, that's the standard policy, is Amazon keeps 65%. But if the author agrees to some further restrictions, she can get a better deal, keeping 70%. But to get the Amazon Kindle deal to be as good as the Apple deal is for apps, the author has to agree to have the book exclusively on the Kindle and has to be part of the Kindle All Access program. That All Access program, you don't get the full price for your book. So, is Apple's 30% cut a bad deal for apps? Come on. Also, when people look at the 30% cut and they declare it outrageous, I believe they're often thinking about the costs of servers and storage. They know that disk is cheap. They know that Linux boxes are cheap. And they know that bandwidth is cheap. Therefore, storing their apps should be cheap on Apple servers, so Apple shouldn't charge them so much. But here's a sampling of what people don't take into account. You got to realize that Apple has to pay for the cost of physical footprint for the server, right? You got to have a server room. You got to have electricity to run the air conditioning for the servers and the servers. You have the cost of system administration time to keep the server running and patched. You have the cost of paying someone to architect that server farm. You got the cost of redundant servers, offsite backups, and disaster recovery plans. The cost of someone to create purchase orders to buy those servers in the first place. They didn't just show up on their own. There's the cost of developers to design the database for the store. There's the cost of the UI designers to create the look and feel of the store. There's the cost of architects to design the store. There's cost of research and development. There's cost of the help desk to answer calls about the store. There's the cost of financial billing software and people to manage those purchases. There's costs that have to be paid to the credit card companies. Those are huge costs for purchases made in the store. There's a cost of managers of all of these people I've just described. And then there's cost of marketing for the store. I could go on and on and on, but you see how many things are behind that simple word server? Well, my point is not that Apple is barely scraping by. We know they're clearly raking in money hand over fist. With average gross profit margins, that's profit before tax, at around 40%, they're not hurting. We don't know exactly what margins they make on apps, but their services business does appear to be in line with that average. My point is that they built this business to make money. They're responsible to the shareholders for making that profit. And to say that they should lower their margins just because someone else chose to be in a low margin business is just plain silliness. Some of the people who complain so much about the 30% cut don't take into account how much better their exposure to customers is with the Mac App Store. I know it's hard to get noticed in there, but I believe it's easier in the store than it is to be found on your own website. I don't want to leave you with the impression that I don't think improvements could be made to the Mac App Store that would benefit both developers and customers. For example, I think both sides would love to have the Mac App Store allow free trials. That benefits both sides. Just yesterday, I spent 10 minutes pondering whether to part with a giant sum of $3 for an app just because I wasn't sure it would do what I wanted it to do. You've been there, right? I also think it would benefit both sides if developers had ways to contact their customers from the Mac App Store. I would love to be able to get notifications of new versions. I'd love to be notified. I'd love them to have a communication path for problems. I'd like to be alerted to discount codes. All of these things would help both the users and the developers. But saying that the Mac App Store is a horrible disaster, or as some of these louder folks have said, just kind of makes my head explode. All right, I'm done with my rant. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest.
Boy, do you feel better now?
I do. All right, what's been going on since I left? Rabbits. Why are we talking about guns? Oh, you usually wear your Star Trek Voyager comm badge?
So Kevin was just pointing out that he has a rifle for hunting for his license keys.
Oh, I got it. Wait, now Sybil said she has a Voyager comm badge for each one of us. She's talking about the people in her head again, Steve.
Oh, I thought it was family members. Well, maybe they are family members.
Yeah, we don't know their names yet, but I'm sure that's what she meant. Maybe she's the only one allowed out of the house. I don't know. So you can go check it out for free.
Or maybe the only one who can speak.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm going to listen to something here. So you can go check it out for free. I listen to a lot of tech podcasts and not too bad. All right, let's see. It is time for some chit chat. We will not be keeping class late tonight. I may stick around and try. Where is it? Oh, I need my GarageBand. I'm just going to try something. I put my GarageBand jingles in together. Way to find them. Probably not. Sounds. Oh, I didn't put them all in, did I? Nope. I only put some of them in? Shoot. Okay. Because it's time for security bits. Let's see. Where did it go? Really? That's where you decided the insertion point was. Thanks. See, that's what I mean. An insertion point thing drives me batty. I'm going to have to drag it all the way down to here. And then we're going to go get security bits from here. Security bits 0722. Let's see. Actually, it's going to do the same thing. Hang on. Don't want to do that. I would like to see. I don't like that either. Okay, there we go. Is this fascinating watching me do this? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Close to my rankings. I like Voyager a lot. Sybil, have you guys watched Orange is the New Black? Captain Janeway is red. She looks so different.
She's amazing.
Find a picture of her as red in Google Images and paste it in there. What is her name? I forget the actress's name.
I think it's Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah, Kate, very good.
Mulgrew or
yeah,
Mulgrew, I think.
I think you're right. Okay, so this should, if I slide this, does this? Ah, that's not what I meant to do. If I slide this, does it move that? Yeah, it does. Look at that. Let's see how that sounds. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest. All right, let's zoom up on that now. that together. In a good editor, when you cut something, you can get it to slide. But that doesn't work in this editor. Like, it doesn't close the gaps for you. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it does not seem to do that. That off my chest. Well, it's that time of the week again. It is time for Security Bits with Bart Boost Shots. That's quiet. Let's boost. Whoops, not that one. How's that sound? Well, it's that time of the week again. It is. And all evils will be fixed at the end. Come on. You can do it. There you go. What else did Bart?
Okie dokie. Well, until next time, stay patched and stay secure.
His mic sounds normal now, Steve. I forgot to ask him about that today.
So maybe just shifted back to the right mic.
Yeah, it was a day apart. So
yeah,
but
he may have just selected the wrong one.
Maybe. Yeah, it was all left channel. That is the way that works. All right. Start right here. All right. That's going to go away. That's going to go away. And we're going to go back to this. And, oh, what did I see? Oh, no, I fixed that, didn't I? So, all right. There we go. I guess Sybil didn't wake, or Haley didn't wake up. She's going to be mad again. She forgot to wake up last week, or didn't wake up last week.
Is she back home yet?
No, I think she's still in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
All right. Get this out of the way. No, I want it right there. Well, that's going to wind it up for this week. We are still on high baby alert around here. The new grandchild has not yet made his arrival, so no promises on when the next show is going to come out. It could come out right on time, or it could be late. We don't know. But anyway, do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. Follow me on Twitter @podfeet. And do check out the NosillaCast Google Plus community over at podfeet.com/Google Plus and our Facebook group at podfeet.com/Facebook. If you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live. And so you can see people like Sybil and Rose and Kevin and have a good time in there. Anyway, you can go in and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla Castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. I figure I'd give you guys a shout out.
I didn't get a shout out.
Oh, I didn't.
That's
Should
right.
I redo it?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I forgot Stephen.
I get plenty of recognition.
All right.
Okay, well, until next time, stay patched.
And if I don't, I'll just I'll just update one of your blog posts and put my name in.
Oh, I know what it was. I left an asterisk in the Mac App Store rant that I never saw.
One that I put in?
Yeah, you put it in an odd place, and I didn't notice it the first time.
Towards the end, I had a question.
I got that one. No, biting software, financial biting software was supposed to be billing.
Oh.
I missed that one.
Financially biting.
Yes,
Pretty tough.
I saw it as I was reading it. I read it correctly. I'll send that back to the blog. All right. I hope that didn't write over something else I'd done there now that I think about it. Oh, well, we'll find out. All right, let's check and see how this sounds.
Next time, stay patched and stay secure.
Well, that's going to wind it up for this. All right. So now I got to go fetch me some music way back at the beginning, which I can't drag easily because it's not going to work right. Shift track. What did I say? It was 69 minutes. Isn't it weird having the shows be so different in length every other week?
Yes.
So what should I do about that?
Just clip them off at 30 minutes. Just cut it off.
convince Bart to not talk. Let's see. NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Geekiest show ever.
Yeah, he didn't plug it. He zoomed out before. Probably saw my note. He should.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, he had to go do a show.
Oh, okay.
So he does that with Mike
McPeak. In fact, he met Mike McPeak in the chat room.
This chat room.
This chat room. Yep. Yes. All right.
You're spawning podcasts left and right.
Look at us go. All right. So
it's kind of like that house in Silicon Valley where you're spawning little companies.
Yeah.
What does he call that?
Well, he's an incubator that's
incubator, right?
Yep.
I'm just a podcast incubator. Excellent.
Steve made me a cover for my my camera. Look. Where did she go?
That's effective.
I'm back.
It works too, and it's very complex.
Will there be a quiz next year?
Cardboard folded twice. Black cardboard. Are you okay there? Don't touch your eye.
My contact lens keeps rotating.
You look freaky when you do that.
Do I?
Yes, your eyes are open really wide. Well, and then you start moving them.
I know.
Like googly eye.
I do. I know. I do that.
Freaks people out, Allison.
Well, but I have to.
Tell them what you're doing, though.
I'm getting my contact lens to line up. My contact lenses are toric lenses, meaning they're weighted. So they're I have an astigmatism. So if the angle isn't right, I can't see anything at all, and they get sticky when I get tired, and that's what happens. I have to fix it, and that does fix it. NC ep. Save that out to disk. All right. I think I am going to call the live show early. I'm going to let you guys get out of class at quarter till. So glad you all came. I'm going to go. Bye. Say goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye, Gracie. Hi, Doug.